Okay, so in this video, I'm going to teach you about what an expression is as well as what a variable is. So let's start off by talking about an expression. So an expression looks very similar to an equation. The only difference between an expression and an equation is that an equation has an equal sign, whereas an expression does not. So examples of what an expression looks like is this. 2x plus 1. That's an expression because it does not have an equal sign. 3w. That is an expression. 10r minus 6. That's an expression. 20 divided by a. That's an expression. 2y plus 8. That's an expression. So in order for something to be an expression, there are 3 parts. The first part is there must be numbers. So each of these examples have numbers in them. There also must be something that we call a variable. Now, a variable is usually in the form of a letter. And a variable represents an unknown value. So each of these have letters in them. These letters are variables. So for example, let's say someone comes over and drops off 24 cookies. They come to my house, they bring me 24 cookies. Amazing. I don't know how many cookies I'm going to eat. I might eat all 24. I might eat 4. I might eat 5. I might just eat 1 cookie. I might eat no cookies at all. I really don't know. Only time will tell how many cookies I'm going to eat. So I could represent the number of cookies that I'm going to eat as a variable c, because I really don't know the answer. So that's what a variable is. It's a letter that represents an unknown value. The third piece of an expression is operations. So an expression must always have at least one operation. So this one here has division. Remember, our operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So an expression must have at least one of those. This one, 3w. This has a hidden operation, and that hidden operation is multiplication. So whenever you see a number beside a variable, so we've got that here, we've got that here, a number right beside a variable, we've got that here, a number right beside a variable, and we've got that over here, a number right beside a variable. That means multiplication. So it's like a secret kind of hidden way to show multiplication, and you need to know that. So there are a few different ways that we can show multiplication. One is just by putting a number beside a variable. Another way is using the multiplication symbol. Another way is using brackets. So if ever you see a number beside a variable or another number in brackets, that means multiplication. So if you see something like this, 4 and then in brackets a 5, that means 4 times 5. So your answer would be 20. Okay, so those are the 3 different ways to show multiplication. There are also a few different ways to show division. Now, one way looks like this, 9 divided by a. Very simple. Another way that you could see this is 9 with a slash a. That also means divide. Another way that you could see it is looking like a fraction, 9 over a. All of these mean division. All right, so in order for something to be an expression, it has to contain a number, a variable, and an operation, and it cannot have an equal sign. As soon as there is an equal sign, it is no longer an expression, and it is an equation. And equations we're going to talk about in a couple weeks, but they are different from expressions. Okay, so let's use this knowledge. So I'm going to give you a pattern of pictures, and we're going to try and figure out a little bit about them. So I've got 3 figures here. Figure 1 is 2 blocks. Figure 2 has 4 blocks. Figure 3 has 6 blocks. Now think about for a second, what do you think figure 4 is going to look like? What do you think figure 5 is going to look like? If you said figure 4 will have 8 blocks, you're right. If you said figure 5 will have 10 blocks, you're right. So when you're given a picture like this, I am often going to ask you to fill in a table. So I'm going to demonstrate how you would fill in that table. So I've got a table of figure numbers, so figure 1, 2, 3, versus the number of squares. So figure 1 has 1, 2 squares. Figure 2 has 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Figure 3 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares. Figure 4 is not here, so we've got to figure it out. We've got to kind of use our imagination. Figure 4, if my numbers look like this, 2, 4, 6, the next one's going to be 8. Figure 5, the next one will be 10. Okay? Now, what is the algebraic expression represented by the pictures? So the algebraic expression, in order for something to be an algebraic expression, it has to have numbers, variables, and operations. So I want you to think about it this way. What do you have to do to column 1 in order to turn it into column 2? So what do I have to do to 1 to make it 2? What do I have to do to 2 to make it 4? What do I have to do to 3 to make it 6? What do I have to do to 4 to make it 8? What do I have to do to 5 to make it 10? And it has to be the exact same thing every single time. Did any of you think of what you could do? It's multiply by 2. So anytime you have a figure number and you want to know how many squares there are, all you would do is take the figure number and multiply it by 2. So my algebraic expression looks like this, 2f, where f represents the figure number. So whenever you are using a variable, you always have to tell me what that variable represents. So if I wanted to figure out the number of squares, I would do 2 multiplied by the figure number. So f represents the figure number. What would figure number 10 look like? So I know that all I have to do to figure out the number of squares in figure 10 is do 2 multiplied by the figure number. So I'm going to do 2 multiplied by 10, and that gives me 20. Figure 10 would have 20 squares. Okay, so you're now going to go back to your slideshow and you are going to go through the rest of the slides. Don't forget to move the colored boxes to reveal the answers. Thank you for watching.